Afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my live show. My name is Toyin Umesiri. Today we're covering the part two of the power of female leadership. And I want to welcome Miss Feline, myself and Miss Feline on Clubhouse. We already started chatting, we already started talking. So we're already having a great time. So I just wanted to go live and open this up also to the live guests on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So welcome to today's conversation. And Mr. D. Emmanuel, I see you joining as well. Mr. D. Emmanuel was part of yesterday's conversation. So before I even kickstart into today's topic, yesterday I did share I was teaching yesterday, so I that went really well. So in partnership with the Illinois International Trade Center, I taught a class. Usually when I go full blast, it's usually intense, it's usually heavy, it's like you prepare, it's like going on a stage speaking, like putting energy behind it, and then usually when I come off the stage, you have to come back to real life. So I always have to, the next day or the next moment is always like, what's next? So I actually feel a little bit like, okay, next, right? So but that went really well. We're going to be putting the video together, putting it in our community, really sharing it in terms of that great information, PowerPoint, all of those things. Like that's my day job. Like my day job is usually extremely intense, and then when I do lives like this, I try to bring things down to, it's like a coffee conversation. So yes, yesterday was part one, the power of female leadership. I laid the foundation, just sharing my own personal belief. We did dive into the conversation around feminism, and I said, as a guiding principle, it's not something that is part of the foundational structures of what I do, because I shared why, my two reasons why, in terms of the definition globally is not unified. It's really highly subjective, meaning people's perspective, understanding, exposure decides on how they interpret what feminism is. So it's too fluid for me, and also it's highly contextual, meaning depending on where people want to use it, right? What conversations, that's where they pull that, right? So for me personally, right, when I talk about female leadership, there's no agenda, there's no feminist agenda in what it is I'm sharing. So I had to really just put that out there, is that as a faith person, there's various spiritual principles that I practice, but the first thing is authenticity, is that knowing who you are, right? Knowing your true self, and that's all you have to offer the world anyway, right? But the world out there tend to reward certain behaviors, masculinity that a lot of women struggle with. So many women, at least the ones that speak to me, and I'm here to listen. If you're in that boat or if you feel differently, please do share. A lot of women that speak to me, the conflict is in, do I behave in such a way that is not aligned to my authentic form in order to be rewarded publicly? Or what's the best way for me to remain authentically myself? Some women also say they feel that people could take advantage of them if they are perceived to be too nice, too kind, too generous. People tend to say, are they the secretary taking notes? All of those things, right? These are real issues that people have to navigate. But what I also introduced yesterday is this idea of, leadership really is leadership. At the end of the day, you can be assertive, you can be authoritative, you can be directional, even you can be imposing. Yes, you can impose. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me dive back in context, right, there are different things, right, where if you want something done, let's just get it done, right? Like, yeah, we need to get it done. This is not consensus. There are times for consensus. Oh, let's bring the best ideas into the room. But there are times when people just need to take matching orders. Like, this is not consensus. This is the direction we've decided to take. We're going. Align your team. Let's go. Directional, right? So, anyway, how to balance those two things, and just at the end of the day, be yourself. That's the first thing. Be yourself. It's the only way you can be consistent. That's why even for me, this live stream is a lot of the struggle I had at the very beginning, was trying to decide if I wanted it to be very structured in terms of business, right? If you find me in the boardroom, I'm very, you know, right, let's go. But no, I decided to just make it like more of a coffee, like among friends, community. Like, if you were here with me in person, if you were going out for a networking coffee with friends, that's the format I try to design here. So more laid back. But if you engage with me in my classes, in my, like, I'm really like tough and head on, like if I'm teaching and all of that. So that's just something I want to say. You have control. You really do have control over the side of yourself you want to share and how you want to share it. Okay. So that's really laying the foundation of where we're coming from yesterday. And then myself and Miss Feline here, we've been talking on Clubhouse. On Clubhouse, I usually do pre-show and after show. Right, we just get into really those conversations. So she was also sharing. So I have to congratulate her. She took on a new leadership role in a job, and we're just chatting about being effective there. So that's what we're. So hopefully I've caught up. You all have caught up with what we're talking about. So Feline, how was my recap? Did that help you? Did that help?
Yes, it definitely put a lot of things in context. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, fantastic. And for me, what I was also trying to share when it comes to leadership, I was also sharing before I went live that one of my favorite leaders in the past, like almost 20 years ago, one of the things he shared with me when I was a new hire to Whirlpool Corporation, he said, Toyin, we are hiring you for your perspective. Right, we're hiring you to bring your perspective here. We want to hear you, how you think, what you think, how you think we could do things better, because status quo is not always the best. So that's one of the things in terms of leadership that many people may be struggling with, is that when you move into leadership position, the first thing is, I would say, ask a lot of questions, because you really want to know how things have been, particularly if you're an outsider coming into a new organization or all of that, is that you want to ask a lot of questions. And I also see that many people struggle with asking questions because they don't want to be perceived like you don't know what you're doing. Guys, no. The wisest thing you can do is to ask for direction. If you are lost, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're in a new place, if you're a tourist in a new city, please, please, please ask questions and be nice. Hello, nice to meet you. Where can I buy for coffee? What would you recommend? Where's the best coffee in town? And you'll be amazed that people would surrender that gem information to you if you ask nicely. But unfortunately, I think people are too wrapped up in themselves because they have something to show or they have something to prove. I'm like, no, there's nothing to prove out here. We are all flawed humans anyway. We're just trying our best. We're just offering our best to the world. So part of the humility, part of leadership is asking questions. Ask questions. Let people contribute, right? Let people offer you their thoughts of how things were done, what they like, what they don't like. At least you would know. If you don't ask questions, you don't know what you don't know. And you have to know that other people have perspective, they have knowledge that can make your job as a leader better. They do. So ask questions, lots of questions. The more questions, in fact, let me also share one trick. Like sometimes when I enter into a room, okay, if I enter into a space, I will enter in and people would actually technically take me for granted. And that's okay. You know why? You will learn more, you will observe more, you will capture more information that you need for your journey when you are a fly on the wall. When people don't know you're there, when people don't know the leader is there. This is just, I'm just sharing, right? When you enter a space and people think you are the boss, they will show you the best version of themselves. But when they don't know you are the boss, they will actually show you more of who they are. And I love that. I prefer people, I really try to create environment where people are authentic, right? I like to deal with, I want to know who I'm working with, your thoughts, your perspective, good, bad, ugly. I just want to know. I just want to know so that we can all design a better life for ourselves. That's me. In fact, there are times when I may be in a place for months and people, I may not say anything, but I'm observing, I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm looking at the power dynamics. I'm understanding who is who. Because when it's ready for and time for me to move and to make decisions, those decisions will be made with intelligent data. Like I won't be making those decisions in vacuum, meaning just what I think. No, I've taken time out to listen, I've taken time out to learn, I've taken time out to observe. Now we can advance and we can come to conclusion. Unfortunately, many people come to conclusions first because of assumptions they're making, right? And then when they start moving, and at that point they feel resistance because people are like, no, you're making a lot of assumptions that is not true. So that's also part of the should I say, approaches at least that I take, that I offer, is that as long as you're trying to prove something to people, you're not going to ask questions. You're always going to try to show them that it doesn't work that way. It does, at least for me. It's like, it's okay. Let's talk as normal. Let's learn and let's support each other. What are your thoughts on that, Miss Feline? And Mr. D Mano, feel free to come up stage if you want to join as well. And if you're watching live, I see Johan saying, yes, I agree. Let's get it done. Thank you so much. If you're joining, do drop a comment, and team replay as well. Feel free to drop a comment. So, Miss Fairlin and Mr. D Emmanuel, please, your contributions or thoughts or questions.
Historian,
Yeah.
that part really stands out about authenticity.
Mm,
I move into this world as a very, I guess, I can be looked at differently based
mm,
on who's looking.
Explain
So,
that. You said
okay.
depending on who is looking. Just explain that. Dive into that, please. Thank you.
All right, so I'm in my early 40s, but I look like I'm in my 20s.
That's good. Okay, no,
That's
sorry
good.
about it. It may or may not be good.
No,
I think it's good, but go on.
it goes back to what you're saying. How when somebody meets you, they don't meet your titles, they don't meet your experience, they just see whatever it is their perspective brings
Mm,
brings the mind of you.
mm,
And so here I am, and now also my hair is shaved. I keep my hair very low, which
mm-hmm,
is not common here for a woman in her 20s, right?
mm.
Keep that in mind. I look like I'm in my 20s. My head is shaved, and uh, I'm not the most curvaceous of beings. And so, depending on what I'm wearing, some people might look at me and say, "Hey,
Mm,
sir," and then I say hello, and then they hear my voice and they, "Oh, sorry, 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 miss." Okay, and
mm,
then and also when I speak, I'm in a Caribbean country. Most people speak a version of English known as Creole.
mm,
The language is English's cousin,
mm,
Creole. And so, based on how they receive that, they may respond in Creole or they may respond in English. And I'm from a very different ethnic group. My ethnic group
mm,
makes up about almost 5% of the population. So
mm,
even my own kinsmen, if you will, might not perceive me as being part of our ethnic group, which is
mm.
Garifuna, because most Garifuna women aren't shaving their hair. So, you know, there's a lot there. It's layered. It's layered. And
Yeah.
it's only when they speak with me, then they realize, okay, so
She's
this
not
is what one
20.
looks
That
like.
when they speak with you is she's not 20. That's the first thing, like, whoa, okay,
Exactly.
we misread her.
Right.
Go on. Okay.
Yes. They consider, they're like, okay, is this accent Belizean or not?
Mm,
So they start to think, is she from someplace in the Caribbean? you
mm,
know and so I always have to say my full name
mm,
because my last name is very popular in the country. A lot of my relatives, even my parents, have been teachers.
mm.
So but then still some people I see, even when I say my last name, they might think I'm married into the name. No, 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 that's not what happened here. I'm very much Belizean and I'm very much Garifuna.
Mm,
And so, whatever you may want to put on of yourself,
mm,
now
mm.
that you know my heritage and you can hear my education through what I'm speaking, just be you.
Mm-hmm. And
So
that's what I'm
that's
hearing in your voice and how we're laughing together now. It feels to me that you are aware of all of those dynamics, but it feels to me like you are fine, you've embraced who you are, and you operate out of who you are. That's how it feels to me. Is that true?
yes, that's true. But it came because I grew up in the States. I was
Ah.
there from the time I was 9 until I was 28. And so, as you know, I would not be calling you Miss Toyin had I not been here for 15 years already back
Mm,
home. I would be
mm,
calling you Toyin,
mm.
even though you are about 10, you know, years my senior, let's say.
No, no.
And,
No, we're not.
right? And I would not call you, I would call you Toyin. I would not call you Miss Toyin. I would not call you
Cultural.
Auntie
Yeah.
Toyin. Yes, cultural. But it is now that, now, which is why I am hyper aware when I speak with certain people. Oh, they have made this decision about who I am and how to engage with me, and
Mm,
this is where they are coming from.
mm,
And so I am, there's a colleague, a younger man who is from a different department, different heritage organization, and he has always called me because I'm 10 years his senior, Miss Feline.
mm.
And to me, we have such a familiarity. It feels like that Miss in front of my name just kind of puts like a barrier as to
Mm.
our communication and our familiarity. And part of it, again, I don't know yet how to navigate that because I'm used to, if I'm going to say Miss, I'll say Miss and your last name. I would
Ah,
say, Miss Commissary. I would not say Miss Toyin.
so, oh my gosh. So that stuff, this is what I say. We always need to be aware of the culture in which we operate. We always need to be in context. Leadership is in context, right? In fact, if you go from one company as a CEO and you go into another company as a CEO, you better also understand the culture, right? The cultural dynamics. Okay. You better understand the cultural dynamics because even company to company, their vision, mission, code of everything that they do, their DNA, company to company is different. So culture, in fact, in the game plan 12 strategies for winning, one of the things I talk about is nature, nurture, culture, right? It's us understanding in terms of our nurture, what has it done to us, good, bad, ugly. Own it, own everything, because part of leadership is leading ourselves first. How we show up, how we choose to show up. Part of leadership, it starts there first before we actually start leading other people. Right? Nature, nurture, culture. My nature. You actually you're sharing that. Your nature, who you are. You just shared that. Nurturing is another thing. How I was raised, where I was raised, and then the culture. And culture is different, right? The culture we were raised, the culture we grew up in, the culture we are right now, they may not be the same thing, which is what you're also sharing. My own recommendation, okay, is first of all, awareness, the power of awareness. And then the second thing is perception, how we perceive it and how they perceive us, right? How we perceive the culture. The key is, do you perceive it positively or negatively? Because how you perceive it will determine if you're cringing, if somebody calls you Miss or Mrs., or if you're open and you see it as you see the beauty of it. So, for example, I've lived in the South or southern part of America. You will still find me say, "Ma'am," I will still do it, even here that I'm now in Chicago. I will still do it because for me, it's a signal of respect, mutual respect. And I know people, it catches people here in Chicago by surprise, but it's something that I actually choose to hold on to from being in Arkansas. I choose. It's not something that Chicago demands of, but it's something I actually cherish from the, like, I it's like Southern hospitality, because I really absolutely loved, I enjoyed my time in Arkansas. The people, like, it's a place where, when we just moved in, for example, to Siloam Springs, it's like, neighbors knocking on your door, bringing fresh smelling baked bread. Like, who does this in America? I'm like, I love this, right? So we actually enjoy the Southern hospitality, the welcoming, the family orientation. I love it. I miss it. And even now that I'm in Chicago, where it's like Chicago, right? Everybody, it's so fast paced. I still try to slow things down by listening, by being cordial, by being welcoming, I still try to bring that hospitality, which also really aligns to the African side of me more, right? In Africa, if, for me, as an African American, it's like, I still bring that spirit of community, spirit of generosity, you know, the openness, right? I still, because I choose that. Like for me to be this 360 whole human being, it's a side of me that I'm not really ready to give away, even though I'm in America now. Like I love community, family. It's one of the reasons I'm doing this, right? But I still, there's the American side of me. I've adopted certain things. There's the American side of me, but this is the liberty and freedom that we have actually to choose who we want to be and how we want to be, to be aware of what other people are deciding to do with them, but saying that I would not let that influence how I am. In fact, it's my duty to show people who I am and who I've decided to be, and my principles and my guiding principles, and to open that up to those who want to be in relation with me, right? Culturally or in business, right? These are the choices we all have to make. But the first choice is deciding who I am. Because the reason this is important, Philin, is that when you're now in relation with people, whether it's personal or business, they need to know who they are dealing with, because you don't want to be Miss today or Mrs. and then tomorrow they don't know if they should call you ma'am. And that's why if you don't, you can actually set the tone. So as a leader, you can actually help your team say, drop the ma'am, drop the missus. In this room, when we're all by ourselves, I want you to call me by my first name. You can set the tone. And people out of respect will take that on. It's like, call me Toyin. Or, for example, when I'm coaching, I say, call me Coach Toyin. I asked for that because it's the reason I asked for call me Coach Toyin is because by you calling me Coach Toyin, you've given me permission to coach you. It's a mindset game, because in other circles, Toyin, just call me Toyin. But when I took on this coaching role and me being able, I mind my business a lot. So one way of bridging that conversation of me being able to show up in a more instructional, directional role, the way I say, you have to meet me in between is call me Coach Toyin. Because when you call me Coach Toyin, I will coach. If you don't call me Coach Toyin, we are just in relation as I'm not your coach. I'm not, you've not given me permission to be directional, to be guiding you in anything in your life, right? So that's another thing that as leaders, we can understand how people are, and we can also understand how we want to lead them, lead ourselves, and we can absolutely set the tone. We can. If you don't feel comfortable, even though in the larger structure, you can help your team understand. I was raised in the US. I would prefer you to, because the types of relationship that we would build as a team, we want it to be mutually beneficial. We want to be more friendly. And when you start introducing Miss Ma'am, right, it layers up a lot of distance. It creates distance, right? So that's something we have to acknowledge for those of us that were raised outside the US, is that certain cultural things were introduced that actually creates distance. The types of relationship you can have when people start calling you this, that, chief, this, it creates distance, and some people designed it because it worked for them. And for me, if it's not working for me, if I don't want to adopt it, you have now that you are the boss, Miss Verlin, you can tell people to drop that thing based on whatever atmosphere or environment you want to create. Like I actually feel you can test that out and then tell them outside, when we're outside, you can call me whatever, but in this team, I want to create an atmosphere that is more friendly, that is more unifying, that you can approach me, and I want you to be able to come to me and share your thoughts with me. That's something you can definitely do. I know I said a lot there, but did that help at all, Miss Feline?
Yes, it definitely helped. And I've tried it. I've done it before, even with the same colleague, and indefinitely he returns back to Miss Feline or Miss
And that's
Kaeto.
okay.
And yeah, yes, exactly. So, but as you said, there's it, um, it's inconsistent
Mm,
because the natural foot, the natural movement is to do so.
mm,
So, I accept it all as long as it is all coming from a place of respect. And so
right,
that
right.
is the bottom line there. What is the intention behind it?
Mm,
And Yes, and then another thing, you brought up so many points. I should have been writing them down, but I, my pen has no ink right now. I'll need to find another one. But one of the other things that stood out had to do with the stepping into each cultural context and being able to identify what that context is. And
Yes.
as you said, the first thing when I meet someone, it is definitely to lead based on that respect, and again, Miss Toyin, or Miss Commissary, and then allow that person as well to help you navigate
Hmm.
how the relation will be. Do they want to keep it formal or informal? And it is only through several conversations that you might reach a point where you say, I'm
Ah,
more comfortable this way.
yes. You're touching a subject I've spoken about before. So I deal a lot in diplomatic circles, and it's like yeah, in a very, very, very high level, top of the house, like ambassadors. And I've talked about protocol before. I've talked about diplomatic protocols, formalities, even in corporate setting. I deal a lot in that space. So when so I tend to move. I move between, should I say, cultures and status and influence and wealth. I go up and down the chain. I'm kind of like that elevator. Like I go to the penthouse. In one moment, I'm at the penthouse. In one moment, I'm talking to government. One moment, I'm teaching. I'm giving a speech. In one moment, I'm speaking on a stage with 19 presidents. In one moment, I can be doing that. The next moment, you find me on Clubhouse. The next moment, like so 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 for me, right, I move through those spaces. It's awareness, perception, and also bring honor yourself, honor other people. And you have to wait, you have to stop, you have to pay attention, you have to listen, and then you have to adapt quickly. That's part of leadership, right? Is that I also did a session last year. I talked about leading down, leading across, leading up, and leading beyond, right? Is that if you're communicating, for example, to those people that are in a way your support, your team members, they report up to you, are their leader. The voice and tone that you're going to use and adopt in giving them direction, in leading them, is different from if you're speaking to your peers. Okay, because to your peers you want to be collaborative. To your subordinates or those that are reporting to you, you want to be directional, you want to be guiding, you want to be nurture. There are several things you have to bring out of your leadership toolbox to help support, guide, coach, even remove roadblocks. Go out there, fight for your team, bring home the food, feed them, right? You're the mother hen, caring for their needs, making sure under your leadership they can be as effective as possible, grooming them, right? Even grooming their own leadership. That's your responsibility to your team. Now, when you're working with your peers, you can't speak to them like they are reporting to you. No, 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 no. You can't. You have to be collaborative, you have to be supportive, you have to help them even achieve their goals, you have to help them advance. That's a different leadership responsibility. Now, to speak to your boss, it's another tone. You have to lead up. There's another dynamic where you even find yourself in spaces where there's no direct, they're not your boss, they're not your peer, they're not your direct report. How do you lead people that there's no direct line? That's leading beyond. That's what I practice every single day today. People don't have to listen to me. People don't have to answer me. People don't have to say, and like in the world of entrepreneurship, customers don't have to buy. Clients don't have to, they don't even have to pay any attention here on social media. You guys don't have to be here. Do you get my point? That's another form of leadership. But you're here, you're listening. People are watching and they watch the replay. Why? I'm leading beyond its influence. There's no direct line, there's no title involved, but my voice, my mindset, my thoughts, my opinion, my perspective matter. That's another form, leadership attribute where you can lead your industry. People that are not in your company, they don't have to listen to you. It's not about titles or anything. It's about influence. Many people don't practice that. It's like leading beyond. Can you lead people beyond your structure, the structure of your company or the structure of your organization? Can you actually influence people? Can you influence, like for me, ambassador, government, right? I have to. How do you do that? That's another entire leadership, should I say principle? That's those are the things I put in the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business, right? So I put together 12 strategies, clarity, networking for success. These are all things at the business and leadership network and academy that I teach. Is that there are success principles. If you want to be successful, you will need to lead yourself. Start with me. I cannot offer you what I've not offered myself. Communication, all of those things, the internal dynamics, my desire. It's like in that class, I teach this concept of, if within yourself you see yourself as a fierce lion, lioness, but out here in the world, people see you as a cat. What is the gap? Right? Because you should be showing up as you really are. Your moves, I say that your moves should match your intentions, right? If you feel you're fierce and you're a lion, inside of this is not physical attributes, which is why I titled this female leadership. Is that you don't have to, a lioness doesn't have to take on certain things. There are other attributes, leadership attributes, communication, right? Networking, being able to listen, community building, um, right? There's a lot of those things that I practice that I don't have to. I'm extremely effective at what I do in myself, being myself, my same self, right? Because sometimes people even ask me privately, but I'll say it publicly. Tony, how come you're female, you're black, you're an immigrant, you have accents, and you're still able to do all this? This I'm telling you guys, this is why it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Like, these are real conversations I have to filter in private. Like, Tony, you have accents in America, and yet people are. I'm saying, guys, this is about value. Value. It's about value management, right? If you have the value that people want and you can communicate that value, it doesn't matter. In fact, what I believe, I preach this, I believe it, I embody it. I say my diversity is an advantage to me. It's not a disadvantage. But if your perception and if you feel that your diversity, your unique gifts, the way God made you, you think is a disadvantage, it's your problem. Oh. Or if other people make you feel that being female, black, accent, whatever is a disadvantage, you are living a life of disadvantage. You've already put yourself in a negative. You're starting from negative. I'm saying quickly bring yourself back up. quickly bring yourself. There ain't nothing wrong here. In fact, it's an advantage to me. Me, my accents, my femininity, my whatever, how everything, it's an advantage. I so much believe there's God made no mistake. God made, because this is where faith comes in. If you believe God made a mistake, then you are showing up wrong. You're not showing up in the full power, in the full gifts that God has gifted you. Maybe that's also something, maybe another day, right? My diversity is such an advantage. Why? My perspective, the things I want to solve, the way I solve it, thought leadership, all of those things, my gifts, my communication, everything that I am is an advantage for me to move and advance what I'm here to do. All of it. Plus, plus, plus. Being black is a plus. Being female is a plus. Having an accent is a plus. That's what I believe. And that's what I practice. And that's how I show up every single day. There ain't nothing wrong here. But if you think if somebody has sold you a story, like, you need to throw that thing away. Because you can't, if that's where you're starting from a negative. You need to bring yourself, deposit new stories and tell yourself, God didn't make a mistake. If you wanted it to be this, then he would have. There's nothing wrong here. I know I just really, really just dropped something out there, but I filtered this so much in private spaces that if it can help somebody out there, then that's why I'm sharing this. Is that I'm I'm stacked up. The advantages I have is a lot though, because of who God has made me to be. That's what I believe. That's what I practice. So even in female leadership, that's one thing people also need to embrace is that your perspective, how you want to lead. If you're kind, you're kind. If you're generous, be generous. But also be authoritative, be directional, bring your thoughts to the place, you know, collaborate, bring value. Like yesterday, like I shared, I was teaching a class at the Illinois International Trade Center. I'm like, that class was on fire, meaning I brought my A game. I will always bring my A game. That's why people always reach out and say, Tony, we need you here. Why? Because if you taste a dose of Tony, one one professor told me, I don't know if Professor Mbele would watch this. Professor Mbele told me, he said, Tony, I'm addicted to anytime I see you all live, I have to join. That's a dose of towing. Okay, I'm trying to be funny now. Miss Joy, welcome to the stage. I just brought you up. What do you think so far? Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm just
You are
laughing
laughing.
because I can relate to all that, and I'm amazed how much you change. But one I wanted to share, and as well as you've proven it wrong with leadership. And some of you who don't know, I'm the founder of African Women in Europe for over 15 years, and something that I've struggled a lot is my looks. The former one, Lenny mentioned it as well. Her age doesn't show, her body doesn't show her age. I have the same issue. And leading African women in Europe, especially my dear friends Nigerians, I look very tiny to be their leader. And I was this slim lady, and everything is fine when you're doing online. But when we come to meet because I organize the events and they all come, and they can't look at you at your face. They're like, and then they used to consider my co-founder who helped me to get started, actually, because she's profound and and I was like, I'm done with being slim, and actually I've been working hard to get weight.
That's so funny.
I look like these Africans.
Oh my God.
Everybody was laughing at me. I said, for the last, actually, COVID has helped me a lot to speed up. And now you're saying I shouldn't have done all that. And I'm thinking, like, are you serious, Toy?
You don't need.
Because I needed the weight so that when
No, you don't. Listen. Let me tell you. Let me say this. Like, one of the incredible thing about female leadership in general is that one of the advantage we have over men, okay, is that you'll be able to move faster because you are not intimidating. Let me start breaking down some tricks. While this is like when military governments want to do certain things in certain countries, they actually send in female soldiers. They are very good spies because you're never going to expect that the female, kind, generous woman in the midst of you is a spy. She will gather more information. A female will gather more information than an physically imposing person. We are hiding in plain sight. You don't understand. God is smart. You can actually move into so many spaces and they will not detect you. They will not detect you, and you can gather more information at your disposal. That's where intuition comes in. We are more aware, we know what's up. Unfortunately, here's where things break down is that women know a lot more, but most women will judge that information. They will not use it to advance themselves. Men, if they have 10% of the knowledge and information you have, they will capitalize on that 10%. They will maximize it. If they have a network, if they know one branch manager, that bank, money will come out from that bank. They don't gather as many people as we do as women. Every relationship is strategic and they will maximize each relationship to their own advantage. That's some of the differences. So for me, being non-intimidating is an advantage. People will tell you everything they will not naturally tell you, right? You will have more data, you will gather more intelligence for your, like, you will meet more people, more doors will be open to you if you play your card well, because you're not a competition. You're not perceived as a competition. I'm just trying to say, from a strategic standpoint, those are advantages. It's not a, but if you focus only on the disadvantage, meaning you want people to treat you the same way, it's okay. Those are things we want, but in the grand scheme of things, which one do you want? Do you want to be effective or liked? Right? Because here's also one of the things that I really, really appreciate. I want to see people in the natural way they are. I want to see them, to see how they will treat someone without a title. I want to see them to see how they will treat a janitor, someone that is they perceive to be inconsequential. I want to see it. I want to see. I want to know who I'm dealing with, because that's how you know real human beings. You want to see their inconsistency. You want to see their intention. This is why even in the Bible you talk about, and God paints this whole picture where, you know, someone comes into the church, the person is not well dressed, you don't treat them well. This is the world we are living in, where looks, appearances, the car you drive, all of the things you show off, whatever, tends to encourage people to treat you a certain way. That we are living in that world where if you want certain privileges, just drive this car. Everybody would come and be, carrying your handbag, culturally in Africa, right? We see it, right? You know why I really want people to show me that? It helps me understand their value system. So when I'm engaging with people in an unintimidating, unimposing, whatever way, just as plainly as we're having a conversation right now, I am listening, I am watching. I am actually watching because I want to understand the other person's value system. What do they value? What do they value? Right? Your team members, what's their value system? What guides them? What governs them? Is it the title or is it something deeper than that? If you spend time with people, you will figure it out quickly by how they relate with you, how they relate with other people, right? And one thing I try to do, just as we're speaking right now, when I'm people wonder, like, how do you engage with, high profile, high net worth individual? As easy as we're having this conversation is the same exact way I actually engage with anybody anywhere else. Like, we're all humans at the end of the day. Now, what I then layer on is what I call protocol, right? So certain offices, if you're talking to the president of America, ambassador of a continent, this vice president, in addition to engaging with them as humans, you also have to understand the protocol of the office they occupy, right? So, for example, there are certain people, it's HE is excellency. So if you want to address them, you actually have to say ambassador this. And I've actually seen one of the ambassadors who is a friend correct somebody, a news anchor, right? The person tried to not give them that. It's like the person said doctor, because the person, he's a PhD, said, and he had to correct. He said, no, 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 no. In where I am, when once an ambassador, always an ambassador. Like, give me my ambassador. I worked hard for it. Call me. I demand you call. When I say call me Coach Toy, right? So that's protocol. Is that if you don't understand protocol of a community, and you it's better to lead with giving them everything they've worked hard for. If somebody is a PhD, please call them professor, doctor. If somebody's a med, call them, give it to them. It's about honoring people. If they want to be called Mrs., give, like, these things are easy. It's so easy. Call Mrs. Madam, you know, give it to them. You will reap the benefits. I call it honor. In fact, sometimes I even would give a title, because sometimes when I'm hosting people and higher office, everybody's like honorable, sir, this. And when I find someone that doesn't have that title, I will call them sir, because I want to lift them up. So anyway, I know I just went off there, but these things are easier than we think, right? Awareness, perception, clear understanding of the protocol, and then honoring people. That's a it's you will get it back. Whatever seed you sow, you will get it back. So I know I'm talking about female leadership, but at least that's my approach, because people always ask me, Toyin, this. I'm like, I'm leading as Toyin. I'm not trying to be anything else. I'm not trying to. I'm aware. I'm aware if that if I stand in front of I'm aware of all of these gimmicky type things that people do. But for me, one of my clients asked me in terms of how to become a thought leader, right? I say that if you want to become a thought leader, then share your thoughts, share your ideas, and lead with your opinions, your perspective, your experience, right? And people will be attracted to that. But if you're trying to be a model, if you're trying to be this, if you're trying to be influencer marketing, then please show the goods, show it all, because that's the profession. But as a thought leader, as of your industry, what people want is your exceptionalism, your leadership attributes, your thoughts, your experience, the skills, how you can also advance, help their own life better. And those are the things that you have to balance out, right? You can be kind, generous, giving, right? But also be effective, bring value to the table, right? Be directional, be authoritative, please be assertive. All of those things will help you to be effective in your leadership. So it's not one or the other, but yeah, I just had to share that. And I'll start wrapping up now. But yeah, Miss Joy, and any thoughts as I start wrapping up? And I see Mr. Lauye, Sauni, May, Anna, Jermaine. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to contribute before I close, okay, I see Jermaine coming up. Awesome. Who else wants to come up and join the conversation here? So, Miss Joy, any thoughts on everything I just shared
Yeah.
now? Go on, please.
I mean, I'm just relating to them because probably I learned the hard way,
Hmm.
and maybe that's
What do
true
you
in a
mean
lot.
though? Learning the
Yeah,
hard way.
because I find myself in a situation and I have to deal, especially with this protocol, these diplomats, that I'm not the people I meet day to day. So, for example, I had an event I organized and I had all the presidents, and I was sure I need to do my homework before I even talk to them. So
Mm.
I actually delegated that with the people who understand their language.
Mm.
And I never talked to them, and yet I was the one leading the whole thing because I knew I was not ready yet for the kind of the diplomat way of talking in his accent. I'm gonna call them different name. It's not okay, right? So
Mm.
so like the way you're saying, you need to use the right title.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people have done it. Some people are quite off it, but we had like
Mm.
excellency, we had honorable, and even had to find out how to even write the letters to them.
This is, let me share. This is the one mistake. The one mistake that most people make. They even make it with me, right? And this is where I observe it. That's why I say we observe, we know, and then, right? The biggest mistake that most people make is that they want to show up and they want to engage as if they are equal to these people, and they want to talk to them as peers. That's the biggest mistake. People do it to me as well. Oh, Tony, even yesterday, oh, Tony, call me. I'm like, no, I'm not calling you. If you can't honor me, if you can't give me my accolade, nothing is coming from here. That is the biggest
Yeah.
mistake, that people don't know honor, and they don't know who to honor. And the Western culture, in a way, people, so the Western culture is very tricky, and this is where when people start moving up the ladder of success, of wealth, of influence and power, they don't understand that in the Western culture, if you're part of, should I say, common, if you are in the common ground, everybody is treated equal. But the moment you move into diplomatic circles, even in the West, even here in the US, the game is different. So if you go, if and also even when you move up into the C-suite, into the boardroom, the conversation is different. So when people are moving up culturally in the West, here in the US, most people in the regular, let's just say regular culture, right? They understand that, the culture is your name, call you first name, last name, like let's all treat ourselves equally. It is true up to a certain point, which is what I'm saying. Until you start going up that pyramid of success, you will not see it, because you are still at a certain level and certain things are true. The moment you start moving into boardrooms, the moment you start moving into C-suite, the moment you start moving into diplomatic circles here in the US, it's not, oh, hello Biden, really? You want to approach the president of America or the secretary general, you will give them their accolade. You will give it to them. That's the number one mistake, is that people assume that you can talk to an ambassador, or you can move into these rooms, or you can talk to a CEO or a senior vice president as if we are on the same level. I'm telling you, even here in the West, it is not true. It is not true. It is not true. It is far from the truth. Because as long as you are trying to treat somebody as your equal, the person will never give you their best. Yes, because okay, if you think we are peers, then that's fine. If you are peers, then yeah, let's be peers. You and I are on the same level, so let's be peers. Hello, peers, how are you? Then they will relate to. So what you bring in, if you bring in, I'm as accomplished as you, then they will say, okay, fine. But that's the key. I don't know, we just took the conversation
Yeah.
somewhere else. That's the biggest mistake that most people that want to move, if you want to move up the pyramid of success, number one recommendation is learn how to honor people, honor their title, honor their office, honor everything about them. Like, that's the most important thing I can ever teach or guide people. Honor. Honor begets honor. Throw the red carpet. Give them the red carpet. So when I host, I host dinners, I will say guest of honor. I will honor them, will give award. Why? They've worked extremely hard to get to where they are. So if somebody comes to me and say, Tony, I wants to be casual with me, no problem. I'll give you casual towing. Really, that's because I see this up and down. If you come casually to any leader, the person will give you that. What you bring is what you get. But if you come in with, I really, with humility and honor, humility, honor, respect, those three things, as anybody's moving up the pyramid of success, you have to carry that thing with you. You don't leave it behind. That's what opens doors. That's what builds relationship. That's what gets us the best. And we have to genuinely mean it inside of us. We have to become that. We have to carry it with us, because what you offer people is what you get back in return. So that I know I just went there because so many people I know want to do incredible great things. And that's why when I talk about business and leadership academy, international trade network, these are things that I only do in private. I will only talk to people like this in private. But now I'm taking my business out there just so other people can benefit from this coaching. Because if we've not been mentored, if we've not been coached, we really don't know what we're doing wrong, right? That's what I'm finding. So anyway, go on, please. Was it Jermaine?
Yes.
Hold on a moment. Miss Joy, did you want to respond before we welcome Jermaine?
Yes, that was it. I mean, you're right, because it's something you have to prepare yourself once, as you say, that you start climbing the ladder without knowing you're there. It's something, as you said, you need to start preparing yourself, even I think in advance, because this situation will always find you somewhere, and you have to remember to honor all these people with their titles. Yeah, so I agree with you fully on that. and it takes time because I don't think it's people do it, especially women. I think some of us have not had a chance to experience it. So when it happens, then it's overwhelming, and you do it unconsciously, because you have
Mm,
not been exposed to these leadership high level areas,
right.
so it doesn't come on an area of
It's not
like when
natural.
somebody, it comes because of not knowing what how best to
Mm,
deal with it. Yeah. So, but it's true. It's something that I've experienced myself, and I'm learning about it as well. But I'm
mm,
always caught off guard. It's just, I think it's something you have to be conscious about all the time. Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so so much. And Mazda here, where are you joining from? He says totally agree. Protocol is very important in every field, every environment. Then he said, even at home, it's true. I agree with you. Where are you joining from? Let us know. Drop it in the comment. Oh, okay, Jermaine, welcome. Please, what are your thoughts?
Thank you for
Could,
allowing me to speak.
could you speak
Uh,
louder, a little bit louder? Thank you.
can you hear me better now?
Yes, yes. Please go on.
All right. I was listening, because I'm interested in leadership, and especially female leadership. So I wanted to see what the room was about.
Mm,
And I was listening for a while before I decided, because I wanted to hear some of the characteristics
mm.
of female leader.
Right, right.
Um, then heard you begin to give some. Well, you gave one um, primary one. You said they're not as intimidating. They can go in, maybe using soft power, reflective, um, or demonstrate a less aggressive stance. I think
Mm,
that's where you were
mm-hmm,
talking.
mm-hmm.
Then you mentioned they can be, that you can be used as spy, like clandestine um, kind of thing, where there's
I just gave an example. It's true, actually. Like you can study is that if you want if you want to win a war, women are used strategically in certain intelligence gathering. But anyway, don't quote me. But it's true. Go on.
so I think you said a third thing about woman leadership, because I'm keen to understand what are the exceptional leadership traits or
Mm-hmm,
quality
mm-hmm.
that a female will bring that a male won't.
Okay.
Um,
Mm,
hold on, please.
mm-hmm. Go on.
This is what I've learned
Yeah, I really
from
appreciate
listening to
that.
you. From
So,
listening to you, I have learned that
mm,
the emotion, perhaps compassion could
mm,
be the pinpoint or
mm.
the exact emotion that I'm mentioning. But listening to you earlier, was just a lot of passion or emotion.
Mm.
Are you in a leadership position?
Yeah, I'm in many, but that it's not, today. I don't want it to be about me, right? Today is not about me. I put up my link out up there. You can click on the link if you want to learn more about me. Please go to toyinumesiri.com, www.toyinumesiri.com. You can read more about me. But today, I really, when I host this conversation, it's not really about me. I want it. I want to learn.
I only asked because I wanted to illustrate my point and what I have
Sure,
discovered.
sure, sure.
And that's
Go on.
why I asked.
Okay. Yes, I am in
You
several.
don't you don't give short answers.
Me?
Yes, it's a compliment.
Really?
Or you can take it. No, you don't. And you're very passionate.
I
So those are the qualities that I imagine would be exceptional to females. Because in my mind and from my
mm,
own scholarship, there aren't much significant difference between a male and a female leadership.
mm, mm,
However,
mm,
there are always
mm,
things that people will identify in office politics and in
mm,
leadership circle where they always say things
mm,
towards female like they are this and they are that,
mhm.
but none of it I believe is scientific. It just could be just nuances. But
Okay.
from what I've listened to and experienced and interacting with females and here today listening, I think it could be the emotion. That could be maybe one of the significant
Mm,
difference between. I think that could be it, our compassion.
okay. Okay, let me share a few things because of what you said, right? The first thing is I will encourage you not to draw conclusions about me and my leadership style because you've only experienced one dimension of me. That's what I will encourage you not to come up with conclusions. And so in human relationship, our mind, our brain wants to take in data quickly and conclude. My caution is don't conclude, investigate a little bit deeper. Here's what I say about leadership. For me, my focus is being effective in what it is I'm trying to do part time. Part time. So I bring to a moment like this moment based on this engagement the attributes I need to demonstrate to be effective for what it is I'm trying to do for this live stream. So what you are experiencing of me is driven based on my intentionalities. This is leadership. So what you are experiencing of me today is a unique design of coffee time, communal conversation. If you show up and you come into any of my classes, like yesterday at the International Trade Center here in Illinois, what you would have experienced of me is fierce towing. It's different. How I showed up yesterday, if you watch some of the clips I'm going to be putting out there, you will not even recognize that towing because it's a business room. I'm teaching, it's a government program. I'm teaching over 100 people in my class. I have my PowerPoint going. I am intense. If you see my eyes, I am directional, I am intense, I am fierce. It's strategic, it's business strategy, it's exports, it's international trade. I talked about China, US. You'll find a different version of towing because in that moment calls for towing in that dimension. It's not what you're experiencing now. Also, if you experience me, say for example at Aswan Forum, this is government of Egypt. There are 19 African government presidents on the same platform. I'm a panelist. On my panel is Deputy Director General for World Trade Organization, Ambassador for Economic Development for the African continent, United Nations, and I am a private sector stakeholder. In fact, for me to show up before in preparing for that presentation, I had to write my speech. Right? I had to write my speech, right? Because those platforms, it's not YouTube. That platform is not YouTube. This is a governmental engagement with ambassadors on my panel. You write your speech, and as you're finishing reading your speech, you will send a copy of your speech to the PR. They will put some of it in the newspaper. If you experience me on that platform, I'm going, all protocols duly observed, His Excellency, President of this, is Ambassador this, Ambassadors. I'm acknowledging all the protocols in the house. All protocols duly observed. Here we go. Today is today is this. I read my speech. I say, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. God bless you. See you later. I'm out. So that's what I'm saying. Don't draw conclusions yet. Part of effective leadership is understanding what are you trying to convey and bringing. It's like if you're trying to eat chicken, bring fork and knife, don't bring spoon. If you're trying to take a soup, bring your spoon. It's so for me, how I'm effective as a leader is based on the moment. So that's why I said you're experiencing Tony, the community builder, okay, the servant leader. You're experiencing that. But if you go into different spaces, you will see the same Tony, but you'll be like, whoa, that wasn't what I expected. That's why I was just saying in a funny way. Don't conclude yet. Go to my website, Toyume Siri, and read up, and you see more things that I do. Okay, I just had to put that out there because I want people to be empowered to be effective, right? Be authentic, but also be effective. If you find me in a boardroom, it's I'm not, this is not what you experience of me. So that's just something I just have to say. You have the liberty of being that as well, right? This is what they say, don't use an hammer to swat a fly. in terms of your leadership skill sets, use it appropriately. If you're coaching people, if you're leading your team, lead them, be gentle with them. If you're leading across your peers, collaborate with them. If you're leading up, right, use your leadership assertive voice, right? Sometimes you have to lead up, sharing your perspective, giving a report. This is how much we've done, right? It's like you're giving a presentation about your team. It's a different voice. If you're leading beyond to people that are not in your sphere of influence, it's a different voice. So that's what I practice for sure. Is that right now I'm chill, I'm just having a conversation, there's really nothing here, like I'm just building community. But just yesterday, if you watch some of the clips I'll be putting out there, on you can actually watch a clip from Instagram right now. That's a different version of towing, teaching and coaching business executives. I bring something else to the table. I bring my A game from a technical business strategy standpoint. Does that make sense? So I'm sharing this also to give people freedom to be effective in whatever they're doing. Jermaine, your thoughts, reaction?
Well, thank you again for allowing me to respond.
Absolutely.
So I hear what you're saying. You were talking about your professional background,
Mm,
expertise,
mm.
and you use effective. Um, that is your aim, your goal
To be effective. Yes,
effective.
that's leadership.
So,
Yes.
right. So I have no comment really.
Yeah.
If that is the goal, to be effective.
That should always be the goal. That's what I'm trying to guide people on and coach people on. Where if you get appointed, like that's what you are saying exactly what I wanted to say. So yeah, go on.
Okay, so all right, I wanted to get some qualities. You were telling me, even though you said it is not about you, it is in general. But you were telling me that you were at a few things in Oregon.
Go on, please.
Am I correct? At the different settings that you were involved in.
Yes,
and you had to,
yes,
adapt or adjust based on the particular setting that you are in.
yes.
But I would like for you to tell me, based on those different scenarios, could you tell me the qualities that you utilize for you to be effective? I didn't get the quality. Could you list
right
the qualities for the different examples that you
right
mentioned?
so okay, here's the key. At the end of the day, you being an effective leader is back to awareness and perception. At the end of the day, are you aware of who you are, your skill? So when I host and I coach people, it starts with your strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. What are you bringing into a room? What value do you carry as a leader? What are you offering people? Why should people pay attention to you? It starts there first. That's why I said leadership starts within. Whether you're a female or a male, this is true. Perception. What do other people need in that room? How do you perceive the world? Is the world against you? Some people believe that certain spaces are against them. So when they move into those spaces, you're going to see what you want to see in the world. So for me, from a quality, or you talked about um, qualities of a leader, whether you're female or male, at the end of the day, how you read a room, whether you're male or female, will also guide how effective you are. Because if you're not aware, if you're not aware of where you're stepping into, or if you cannot see clearly. So I have a program, a leadership and success program called the Game Plan 12 Strategies for Winning. The first strategy I teach is the power of clarity. Can you see clearly? Can you see yourself clearly? Your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunity, threats. Can you also see other people, their strengths? Because if you're in a team and you cannot collaborate, it means that you're not acknowledging what other people can contribute to whatever it is you're doing. You feel I'm the only one that have everything. Those that people that don't collaborate well cannot see the gifts in other people. They cannot see the value other people bring in the table. So collaboration only works when you can see what you can bring to the table, and when you can see what other people bring to the table. So this is quite complex. The question you're asking is quite complex, but at the end of the day, I'll just keep it simple. Awareness, perception, those two things. Awareness, perception. Whatever you see is what you will see. Whatever you don't see, you don't see it. So being able to move into spaces and read the room and understand the need of the room, and being able to offer yourself in terms of value that the room that will command that the room needs from you, right? That's really the key. And if you sometimes when people are new in leadership, it's it or miss. It's it or miss, right? It's like you think they need this, you say something wrong, and it's like, oh, right, it's off. So you have to keep practicing to understand the needs of the room, be aware, and perceive it correctly. And those are the two things. If you get it wrong, there's really nothing you can offer people. If you're offering them what they don't need, even in entrepreneurship, you're trying to sell a product you think the market needs. The market will tell you, no, we are not ready to pay for that. And that's it. How aware are you of the marketplace and the value and your services and products? So I'm answering it in a general way. Your question, I'm answering your question in a general way, because books have been written on leadership, right? So if it's a topic you want to study, I want to encourage you to study it. Also, the replay from yesterday is available, and also you can listen to the earlier version of today, where I also did a quick recap as well. So yeah, the topic you're asking, it's a big, big, big topic. But at the end of the day, I say be authentic, because you can even put two female leaders together, myself and somebody else, like Miss Joy here, and what we're going to do is going to be different. So even female leadership, there is diversity in female leadership, just as in male, right? So let's just let people be who they are in their authentic form. And my point in terms of leadership is, how do you become an effective leader? It's communication, it's awareness, it's perception, it's networking, it's all of those things. And whether you're a man or a woman, if you have those attributes that would help you become an effective leader, then it's either you have it or you don't. um so yes, thank you so much. Let me give Mr. Laoye here, he's been patiently waiting, the opportunity to share as well, to contribute. Thank you so much, good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for the opportunity to share. I really appreciate, ma'am. Okay, so while listening to the conversation, while you were explaining the concept to us, things to do, I remember one of the statements I heard years ago from Joyce Meyer, when she said the biggest gift you can give anyone is access. And it just dawned on me from the breakdown you've done, more or less like you are helping me to reverse engineer the statement and understand how I should be able to position myself in any space I get to, to be relevant and, tap in opportunities and be a tremendous value. And I want to say I appreciate that a lot, because I just realized that, when someone gives you access to them and the opportunities they have that can advance you, you must have done something right. Now I'm getting to learn from here that it's as simple as understanding respect. At the place of honor.
Honor.
Like you, ma'am, I'm Yoruba by tribe, and I'm big on this respect thing. So even people younger than me, I mean, I accord them tremendous respect, and I observe that they open doors for me in places I could not have accessed, just on account of regarding them. So I don't know how to place that in order that you've explained, but I can understand that that's leadership at some level.
Yes.
Most of the people that I coach in my own sphere, 98% are women. And from what I've learned from you, I can go back to my community and impact on them and let them know this is the water trough where I, scooped this knowledge from. So I want to say thank you, ma'am.
Oh, I appreciate that. I
Yes,
appreciate that. Let me help you a little bit further to give you a picture.
okay,
Let me give you a picture, okay? And I see Mazda says he's joining us from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much. So You talked about Yoruba culture, which I'm also from. Let me use this analogy. Imagine if you're going into somebody's house. Let's put you on mute temporarily because of the back end. Okay. So imagine if you're going to visit somebody's house. It's not your house. You talked about access. So I want to give you this picture that would really make it relevant when I talk about protocol. When you knock on the door, you don't barge in. You don't barge in, you don't impose because it's not your house. You wait for them to open the door. If you put on a personality of, this is my, they will just close the door in your face, right? You're knocking on somebody's door. This is access, the power of access. You need to smile. You need to greet them nicely because it is their house, it's their domain, it's their seat of office. If you want anything good out of that house to bless you, if you want to anything in that house, that protocol, that Yoruba protocol of you even carry a gift, right? Here in the US, for example, if you're hosting a potluck and you're coming to, you're showing up to the potluck, it's a general principle: bring wine, bring something, a token to just say thank you. This is true, even in the eye circles. You knock on the door, you say, "Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for having me. Oh, nice. I brought you a gift to say a thank you note." They will open the door nice, like, yes, this person can come in. Now, when you come in, this is the mistake people make. You don't start complaining. "Oh, look at their rug. It's red. Why is it red? Oh, their kitchen is not well lit." What if you bring that drama? They will kick you out. Right? You don't go into somebody's house and open the fridge. Oh, and help yourself. You don't help yourself. Yoruba culture will teach you: sit down quietly, be nice, right? Right? The same thing is true as you're advancing. Is if you're engaging with an ambassador or a governor or anything, you don't barge in. You don't barge in. You don't treat them like, "Oh, what's the big deal? We went to school together. After all, we are age mates." Okay. You're showing up in somebody else's domain and you think you can disrespect them on their own turf. This is the behavior I see every single day. Every single day. You think you want to teach them how to arrange their house, what furniture they should have, what color. Look at this house, it's not even painted well. That's what I see when people say, "Oh, this government is this." Okay. The same government you need to be advocating and working with. You've already said all kinds of nastiness about them. They will watch out, they will not invite you next week, right? So anyway, I just wanted to paint that picture because many people don't fully understand what I'm saying. It's honor, it's respect. You don't go into anybody's house and start making a mess. It's not your house. And you don't, and if somebody else did that to you, how would you feel? Mr. Laoye, go on.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. Clarity you just brought to the game, ma'am. Okay, so the other thing I would like to just share in respect of what that I've learned here is the place of one having value to also give.
Yes, yes,
Else,
yes, yes.
all of these, things, if we do them, they will just be, they will
You know,
open
Mr.
doors.
Laoye, sorry to
Yes, ma'am.
interrupt. What you said,
No problem.
if you don't have value to give, you know what it turns people into? It turns people into beggars.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you don't have value to offer anybody, if you knock on that door and and they're opening the door and you're not bringing something of value to them, then you want to extract, you want that house to give you something, then it's turned, the table has been turned. The person is a beggar and they'll be treated as one. I say these things clearly under Coach Towing because I see so much is that you want something, you've not deposited anything. In the world of business, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You want to collaborate with people. What are you bringing to the table? So go on, please. I just wanted to take on that word you said, value. The
Okay,
reason you always want to
okay.
bring value is if you are not bringing value, you'll be treated as one begging for what? Go on, please.
Exactly, exactly. So, both of made in terms of gift of access and also you bringing value to the table now makes everything you've taught us today deliver tremendous results beyond the reaches of our imaginations. Because I can already see. Please, man, I have to be honest with you. I'm based in Nigeria, so there's a limitation to what we have access to.
Mm.
So, learning this from you, and the last session I attended, where you talked about, you were talking about passion. Okay, and you said gated content. Yes, the kind of results that you want, they are with people who have gated the access.
Mm.
And this just connects back to that. I don't have much more to say, but other than that, I've been able to connect the
Yes.
place of access and the place of value.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
mean, that
for that contribution. Really, it's like if you're going to a bank, a bank has so much value inside there. They will check you at the gate, like, why are you here, right? And when you even if you want to come and collect money, they will check if you deposited something, right? Like, you can't go to a bank and collect what you've not put there. So that's also something that happens, is that generosity is one of the incredible things that anybody that wants to advance, you have to be generous. You have to be depositing. It's like what Bible says, scatter your bread upon the waters. Be as good and nice and generous to as many people, because you really don't know. Like, you have to have that generosity. The most successful people in the world that I know, they're the most generous giving people in the world. I don't like That's what I have experienced. And the people that hold back, that they cannot give anything, they stay where they are because nobody will help them. That's another. I know that today's conversation just totally went right. I let people lead this conversation. So for me, I just want to show up and help guide the conversation based on questions, right? So thank you so much for everybody that is contributing. And I see Miss Ariel, Mrs. Ari Ola Nola. Oh, I'm so sorry. You have to correct me every time. I have to apologize because you've taught me your name before. It's a very unique, beautiful name. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so happy to talk to you again. So come up, on mic and then share your thoughts. Thank you. Ariola, I think I said it right now. I just can you on mic and please contribute? I hope this app can. The app has been behaving funny.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes. Good afternoon.
All protocols observed. As I learned it from Coach Toyi.
Oh my gosh.
It's so nice to be here again. I missed yesterday's session, but I've really listened all day today and I gained a lot. And I'll just give a summary of what I've been able to pick from the beginning. That when we get to a place, it's good to ask questions so that we can do things right, and then build relationship that we want as a leader, and then bring value to the table, like the last speaker just spoke, and then be our authentic self as a woman, as a lady, and then show up the way we are, and then just be effective as a leader. But I have a question, and I've been waiting. You must have seen me raising my hand. When you come to the table and there is power play, politics in the boardroom, especially when you're like one or two ladies in the midst of 10 men, and then you from your coming on board, that's the first thing that stare you in the face. How do you manage such
I love it. Okay, that's a fantastic question. And one story even comes to mind immediately. I won't mention names.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I won't mention names, but let me give you an analogy first. The analogy I give is, if you're a soccer player and you're carrying a ball and you want to kick your goal. So this is intentionality, is that when you enter that boardroom, set your mind on what you want out of the room. Do you understand? Okay. So goal setting. Like, I'm entering into this place. So women, maybe this is where we get distracted, right? Is that in addition to bringing value, be clear on the value you want in return. Ask, right? So don't forget to ask. We don't ask enough. We think people will just offer. No, 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 no. You will extract value. That's why when I'm teaching entrepreneurship at the Business and Leadership Entrepreneurship, I will say you will engineer your success, business model engineering. Because if you are constantly giving free to the world, nobody's going to, oh, I like you so much. Let me, no, no, no. You will command value in the marketplace. You would extract value. So when you enter that boardroom, power play is huge, but you have to be focused on kicking that ball into scoring. Because as you're trying to score on the soccer field, some people will dribble you. You know that.
Yeah, they'll come across you.
Aha! You see my point? They will dribble you, they will intercept you because they don't want you to score. Right? You will
Yeah.
laugh. You will laugh it out. You will acknowledge it, but then you will quickly get back to, right? Your goal. You will not leave that room until you score. That is the key. It's not that, because you cannot control what's going to happen, the dynamics that you even, it's most of those times you even have no, it's none of your business. They have that stuff. So let me, the example I wanted to give, I was hosting a summit, government leaders, like official government people. And within that government structure, certain people had issues already before they came to my event. Do you understand? They had
Okay, sir.
issues with their own commanding structure. Who is bigger than each other? Their
Each other,
titles,
yeah.
the titles.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a play that has nothing to do with me. And they brought that minor drama to me coordinating an event with them. So when I was introducing the titles, right, and the agency name, they corrected me. Oh. Okay, so I called one, we were talking, and then by the time I called the other, the way the person responded was like, okay, we are not a council, we are a commission, we are bigger than council, so take note of that. And then
No,
they jabbed each other in a friendly way. But for me, I knew what was going on, that it's an ongoing power play
Yeah.
of my agency is bigger than yours. When it's time to budgeting and we go to the presidency, we should be getting more money. That is something that
Yeah.
doesn't concern me. Like, it's none of my business. But it played out on my platform. So what did I do? When I was corrected, I was like, sorry, sir. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now I've noted it. Okay, it is commission. It's not, like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that fix me. Now let's get back to scoring this goal. That's what I mean.
Focusing on the goal.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
But
So
but
always bringing
acknowledge,
the
but
team
you
back to
yeah, but you need to
um
acknowledge. You need to acknowledge the grievances. So what happens is that we can't sweep it under the rug. So in female leadership, this is what we do better. Okay, what we do better is that when grievances and opinion, like, I try to create an environment where everybody can voice. I want to know what's really,
the
but
opinion. Yeah.
yes, there are other leaders that they don't want to know. Like, don't rock this boat, don't say nothing, don't derail the conversation. Everybody will show up with their mouth closed. Do you all agree? Yes, we agree. Yet they didn't agree. I don't like that. So what I try to do is I want to know what's on your mind. And if we want to really know what's on people's mind, we must be ready to acknowledge those grievances as genuine. We may not agree. So here's the thing. We don't have to I don't have to agree that what your issues are my issues. No, I don't have to, but I need to agree that they are legitimate issues that you have.
Yeah, that one needs to look into.
Yes, and the power we have in leadership is to first acknowledge that, wow, oh, wow, interesting. I didn't know that. Right? I didn't, oh my goodness, that's genuine. To you, not to me,
Yeah.
but to you. And if it is to you as your leader, what can I do? And one of the tricks, not really tricks, but one of the ways to really bring down the temperature, one, acknowledge it and then say, wow, can we take that offline? Like, I really want to help you, but this is not the place to tackle or resolve what you just brought to the table, because we didn't come to this room for that. Like, the goal here is not to tell me your ankle is aching. I acknowledge it, you are in pain, I see it, and I'm committing that right after this meeting, I will take up your issue. But for this meeting, please let's call this go. Like
So
let's bring everybody back. Go on, go on.
yeah, in essence, getting the balance when you're on the board
Mm-hmm.
and filling everybody's purse and then still focusing on the goal.
Yes.
Which is why you're there as a leader in the first instance.
Yes.
And then being a lady, being a female leader brings its own plus, like you said. I found myself, I'm black, I'm a Nigerian and, African descent.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in the midst of people that actually see the value you bring
Mm-hmm.
because you're a solution provider in your own right. But there's still always the bias that says, oh, how come she knows so much? Or what does she think she knows? Yeah.
Okay, let me what you just said now. The key is never be the one intimidating people. I'm telling you. Those relationships you need.
But you said we shouldn't play it down too. So how do we get balance?
The balance is if you have peers. This is managing across. I suspect those people that feel those feelings, they might be your peers or a little bit ahead of you. So you're a competition to them.
Yeah, and they're thinking you're coming over to take over.
Let me tell you, take those people out for lunch. Befriend them. No. Really. Yeah. Do you want some tea? Do you want some tea? Oh, how's your family right now? How's your wife? Oh, is that the picture? Go to their desk. Is that the picture of you have a beautiful daughter? Really?
Yeah.
They are calling for attention. Give them attention. Do you know what will happen?
Need them to understand you. Yeah.
Get them. They don't know enough. Here's what I say. If people know enough about you, they will like you because there's nothing not to like. Really, this is the mistake, particularly immigrants. We make this in corporate America. We do the work, but we don't expose ourselves so that people will get to know who we actually are. That's the key. For me, like if you're working with people and you're spending 8 hours every day of your life in a company, please,
family, more or less.
you want them to be, you want to be working for them and they working for you as well. Do you understand? This is where collaboration comes in. As long as you're in competition, you can't play that game. Nobody moves anywhere. And if you're working there for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and they don't know your brother, they don't know your family, they don't know any family situation, it doesn't do much, right? I remember many years ago, maybe 18 years ago, one of my managers, my senior managers that hired me back then 18 years ago. In fact, I was a newly married person. I invited him to my house. We made jollof rice, fried plantain, chicken. We took pictures. He was my boss in my office, but even till today, we still have that relationship. I have his phone number. His sister, his dad. We talk about real life.
Yeah.
Right? So that is a lot of times, right? People say business is business, but no. Business is human. Business is being human again. The people, everybody in that room has brother, sister, children. They have also their own family issues. So that's one of the things. Anywhere I show up, we will work, we will get the work done, we will lead. But let's also know that we're in relation with other human beings.
So asking about family and home at times do the magic, and I get that now.
Nobody can. They will never fight you again. No, like listen, you it's their birthday. You put happy birthday. You send them a birthday card. You put candy out there. You offer them things. Would they ever be your enemy in the boardroom anymore? They will even be vouching for you. Give her what she wants. Promote her even. Leave her. We really like her.
Thank you. These are gems.
Like this thing is not hard, though. You know why? Yeah. We make it hard. We make it difficult. Yeah. And the thing is that it's like a gatekeeper or the assistant. They will not let you pass if you don't smile and if you don't honor them. And if you don't regard
Yeah,
them,
that honor, yeah, that regard and respect
and
for
they are
sure.
gatekeepers, your peers, they may disrupt your project. They will not help you. They will not support you. And you want them to support you. It doesn't work that way. Go for lunch, send them a save the date of their birthdays, send them thank you.
Yeah,
What else? Can I? Oh, I'm going out for lunch. Like these are things we used to do then in corporate. Like sometimes we are so busy, everybody's busy, and not everybody's able to go out for lunch. You could even offer, look, I'm going to Jimmy Jones. Do you want me to get you some? Right? You know, you just say the team, let's do team lunch today. Right? Let's do team lunch. Who wants what? You take the order, right? You take the order, you call it in. When the food is ready, you distribute. People you are doing that to cannot oppose you ever again.
thank you, Coach Tony. Yeah, though in the society here, because of modesty and individualism, it's a bit different. I've been listening to most of the speakers. I observe the Americans, like the title thing, respect thing here. They're so used to first name basis in England. It's just standard.
Can
Do
I?
you understand?
Yes, but here's what I would say.
Yeah. So,
So,
but the respect comes in different other ways, like the way your tone, the way you address, and even the way you greet generally.
yes,
Hello, Jane. From how are you, Jane? It's different.
but
So
here's the
these are
key. But there's something what you're saying. What I would encourage you to maybe do or consider is investigate their social function, the culture of social. Every culture has a way it does the social. You'll be amazed
yeah,
that everybody you are seeing that you think they're not friends, when they close from office, they're going to have beer together on Friday.
yeah. They do. Yeah, get together.
So most of the other people, right, in that room, they might be showing up extremely formal in the boardroom. But when you see them outside in the company, their kids, they're going on vacation together. They are going to each
Yeah.
other's churches.
And
They
so
are
often.
living life together, but you are an outsider, technically. Not an outsider in the corporate world, but an outsider to them in the real world where they are living in that city.
Yeah, where they live.
That's what I'm saying. People need to close the gap. Is that I have found, because the way I moved and the things I did, even in corporate, was I got behind the scene and I realized, because I was involved in so many different things, I actually realized that most people in that city, most people in the company together, that when company time closes, when it's 5, 6 o'clock, all of them, they are friends on the weekend. They are going to the kids' soccer game, they're taking vacations together, they are doing life together, they go to the same church, uncles, aunties, because they are living life. And the life they are living goes beyond just office. But most of the times, immigrants, we are only living the life in the office with them. When we go on, we go on into our own
No, that's
community.
it.
We are not in community with our co-workers. That's the problem. That's the problem. So the only way you can close the gap is actually to be in community with them, with people that you're working with. It's not just, this is not just about the work. It's not just about clocking in. Oh, is this project, is this timeline? No, 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 no. It's human again. Do you really care about me? You only care about your work. No, my kids, they're they right. I'm just, this is what I've that's this is what I've enjoyed. That if I call anybody now, they will respond to me. Why? Because I will check on them. Even me, at one point, I remember I used to bring my son to the office. I'll go and pick him and bring him to the office. He will sit down there and I'll be working and they'll be talking. My co-workers will be offering candy. Candy. My kids loved coming to the office. Why? It's like we have a candy bowl in the high. Candy. All kinds of candy. Because anybody passing will just take candy and say thank you and walk away. Right? So my kids will be like candy. Even me, I used to buy at one point, I used to, from Walmart, I'll buy bags of candy because when that candy bowl finishes, we'll top it up. We'll put, and then we have people coming to our house. Oh, Skittles. This is my favorite. Tony always has. So even if they're not our team, we just put that candy out there. Everybody going in and out because we worked in a team that we have to build collaboration with everybody across the team. And if you start using titles, do you know title only works up to your immediate organization. But when we're working in a matrix organization, it's the only way you get things done is influence. Title doesn't work. In fact, there are some people that have vice president, they are not effective. Why? Because they think that they are title vice president. No, 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 not in the company I work with.
Title will do it.
Title doesn't do nothing. It's influence,
Nothing.
it's relationship, it's networking.
Your personality, yeah.
Yes.
And then the value you bring to the team.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You really took me back to, that was one of the things that I realized, that as an immigrant, you cannot be an unknown. Like if people have question mark about your favorite food, right? It will be tough to go to the next level, because
and all this bring trust.
Yes.
In the organization, yeah.
Yes.
Knowing you inside out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Who are we promoting? Yes.
Yeah.
Who are we promoting? Who is she? I mean, I had fun. In corporate, I had fun. Because it's real life. If you're spending 8 hours, 9 hours anyway, you better laugh. I remember there was a day, I don't know if this person will ever watch this, but my boss then, we were laughing. We were on a project, and these projects are always intense. They are very stressful, right? So this is how you actually de-stress, right? By being playful. And they were saying something, I can't remember, and I was saying it's a lie. It's a lie. They said, Toyin, we are right. I said, if it is true, then I will back like a dog. Like I thought I was right. It was like we are exchanging this. I'm right, and my boss was like, Toyin, I'm right, you are wrong. I said, no. If you are right and I'm wrong, then I will do the unthinkable. I will back like a dog. Turns out it was right. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you. They brought a cell phone and said, yeah, you must pay up. So I was like, woof, woof. Woof, woof. And they recorded it on the phone. And we used to, it became a joke. It became a joke that told you are not always right. Don't be making a bet, you know. So I'm laughing now because we laughed. It was so funny that they like told you, I was so shocked that I was sure that I was right. And then I was shocked that I was wrong. And they were like, oh, yeah, pay up. You must do the unthinkable. And I was like laughing. So, yeah, I have incredibly warm memories of being in corporate.
Yeah.
I do, because it's about relationship, and we are trying to do meaningful work. We're trying to lead, but we are humans first. And that's why, even for me, I was able to ask for, should I say, concessions when I needed it. Meaning, my I need to go to the dentist. I need to go to this, my son's school, this practice. Like, we are living real life here. Like, I have family, kids, and everything. I'm going, and they will cover for me. My team will cover. Like, if anybody needs me, you're on point. I'm out. I need to go and take care of maybe health medical checkup or this.
Issues.
Yeah. And it's mutual, because I cover, they cover, and you never have to feel like, watch your back, who is going to you, all those things goes out.
Okay, so that brings me to the last point. The speaker before, Mr. Laoye, was talking about nuances around the female leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember clearly when I told you spoke at the time, if you remember, Toyin. I said I once has my own private consulting outfit, and what I was doing was to help clients broker funds for major projects. And it started by me first assessing what they want to do. Look at their paperwork, profitability, feasibility, government rules around such an investment, and the general market environment before we go ahead and do the figures to then present to would-be lenders. And so it happens that people will have to come to me first, and we'll have the first meeting talking about their project, their interest, their venture. Then we go further by putting that into writing. We have a meeting, you intend to do this, we're going to be doing this. Then we get engaged generally and move on from there. And then I source for fund for them abroad, then, foreign lenders. And being a lady now, owns this firm, runs with our team, clients mostly from a background at the corporate and the bank, now coming to me for foreign borrowing and all that. And they're seeing some clients when they get to you, they're taken aback that, oh, a lady runs this. Where's she coming from? How does she know this? How well established? How capable? They start doubting.
Mm-hmm.
And they transferred those dollars to clients. I remember one client clearly. I'm not going to mention it now because I don't know who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is one big person from the I'm from Nigeria, just
Mm-hmm.
like you, and there's this Bayelsa people, the people with the oil.
Mm-hmm. Oil.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you get it. And then so he happens to have probably be the one that helped one of the escapee down here then to get back into the country through that kind of. So he's big in his own thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to acquire a government the way they put government property up for
Privatization.
Privatization and all that. So I work a lot on privatization, and it's just something I know very well. And he's been told that, if you get to this lady, she will break this down and she will probably get this fund that you need to break the back of this project. And then in his own big man thinking, I should be the one to come to. I set a standard. Leadership to you set, like you said, you set standards and lay your rules. Be assertive, like you said. So my rule then was clients will always have to visit us where we are and see us in our either bigness or smallness, no matter how you see it, see where we operate from. And then from there, the next meeting could be at the client's place. But the first ever meeting, I always want to be at my own door, so that that kind of control and
yes.
And then the man, so the link has been calling, trying to get him to come down to me, and then he will be like, "Oh, they should go and bring her." And I said, "No, this is our company rule. We welcome our clients first time. We have the first break meeting. Then from there, we can always meet anywhere. So the day this man came, he was reluctant. and then I kept my cool in my usual way, because he did, like you said, be the fly on the wall. Until they discover you.
Right.
So he came and was posting and feeling big and all that. And then so I read through there. I listened to them, introduced myself, my team, what we do. And then I listened to his interest. So I started picking holes in the stock pattern and what will kill the business from day one. By the time we finished that meeting, and then I led them from that to what should be done, or what we should look at, the other areas, the possibilities, opportunities, and all that, the potential. And then I said, "Wow, didn't I didn't want to come?
Wow.
I thought I was coming to meet him." He stood up.
Wow.
He stood up and bowed, and I was like, "Wow, that he's been so amazed, and that nobody has told him this much all his life of going about on projects."
Wow.
I asked all the questions. I told them all the possibilities or likelihood of things going right or going wrong, depending on how the steps they're going to take, the rates for the funding, the terms and conditions, the other options they never thought of.
Wow.
And I asked her the question. So, like you said, you just be the fly on the wall and just chill. But you're a female leader, that you have to know your onions and have all the values you can offer. And always improve. Like you said, you read more, you study. You told me about you having to do with China, trade between China and the US and all that. And then you must have done a lot of research and know what it takes to deliver on those talks. So that's one thing again I picked from this interaction this afternoon, that if you know your worth as a lady,
and that's
female,
yes, and wow. What you just said, I think it's even summarizes everything.
He didn't want to come, but he came and was like, and then he came again.
Yes.
Have to be here.
Wow.
I don't stress you, young lady. Don't bother, most people don't know what I'm talking about, so let me just be neutral. But first start to where I was based in Ikeja was a distance, and he said, "Wow, people coming out." Yeah, for that meetings he came, and then we progressed.
Wow, this is key, because what you just said is kind of like a summary of one of the things I say, is that what people are looking for is value.
Yes.
Okay.
And
if you can demonstrate that you have it, then gender falls by the wayside. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, he dropped that.
Right.
He was already biased.
Right.
With a lady, a young person, but
exactly.
Perspective changed, and
yes. In fact, there's a video I remember doing. It was for leading women. There was a documentary where I talked about. I said gender is just a crutch that other people can use against you. But you can't, don't attempt to lean on it. See it
Yeah,
for
do
what
your
it
card
is,
well.
right? See it for what it is. And it's not, it's, this is what I also want to share, is that it had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with him, his upbringing, his lack of exposure,
Yeah, think he got it.
right? So
You got
at the end of the day, people bring that into the room. Here's the key. This is the power of leadership. You can always win a room. If you enter into an hostile, let me just say hostile room, there are times when you walk away. But if it's not
yeah.
completely negative, if it is based on lack of awareness, you can convert the room. You can win them over.
She's not serving you, then
Yes, you
you
can see it. And this is why I smile every single time, is that I can enter a room, let me also connect what you just said with another thing that I see, particularly here in the US, is that if you're already coming with a negative, right? If you already come with a negative energy that they're not going to like me, they're going to think I'm female, they're going to think, you've already loaded up yourself with negative. If you enter a room,
like a defeatist attitude,
okay,
yeah.
whatever that negative stuff is, you're already expecting negative. Even if you come into a neutral room, you will turn that room into negative.
Yeah. The
Okay,
body
this
language
is where
matters, yeah.
race relation clashes, right? Is that there are certain times when people already embody and believe, they have a belief system, right? That black, this, certain opportunities are locked away because you are this. It's a belief system that certain people carry. When you carry it into a room that is even neutral, meaning that room did not believe what you believe, people will poison that room. Because somebody may innocently make a remark that is innocent. But because that person carries this belief, the person concludes, because I'm black, that's why the person talked to me that way. You've
I get
poisoned, that person has
I get that.
poisoned that pot. And
They know that feeling.
the moment you bring that negative, and because you're now on the defensive, the moment you now bring that negative out, that person too will now match you with your negative. Because it's like, why are you now calling me racist? I'm not racist. All of a sudden, that entire room is corrupted. This is what I do different. I load up on positivity. If you know me, you will like me.
I
If
know
you know,
I already do.
you see my point.
I've been
I come with. There's nothing wrong here. I'm carrying gifts and blessing. If you don't, it's like what the Bible says. If you say peace be unto this house and they don't receive it, I will take my shoe, dust it, and move on. It's not my problem, right?
yeah.
So when I come into a room, even if the room starts out being somehow, before we are done, we will be laughing,
Yeah.
because you can use your positive energy to prove everybody wrong. Like you've not seen Toyin, you don't know Toyin. If you know Toyin, there's nothing, right? Like Toyin has a lot of value to offer. Toyin has a perspective that will help your business. Toyin has experiences that will take you to the next level. Toyin here is transforming lives. Toyin can take you to the next level. The moment
Yeah,
people
you break
understand
things
that,
down for people. Yeah.
yes, that's another thing for us to be aware. So this is back to checking ourselves, our heart, our intention, and as much as possible not buying into anything that can create toxicity within us, because when you carry that toxicity, you are distributing it, and you're going to find it. If you're carrying trash and you're distributing trash, you will be seeing more trash around, because actually you are the one carrying the trash. Unfortunately, this is something people don't understand, is that whatever you carry, you'll be seeing everywhere. Why? Because it's within you. You are the common denominator in every of those spaces you are going to. So if you already carry a story of racism, this, that thing, you can't escape it. Why? It's in your heart. So you are seeing the world. That's why I talked about awareness perception. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but let it exist outside of me, not within me.
Yeah. I will not embrace it.
I will not
Yeah,
carry
when
it.
he came, I was warm, I was welcoming, and then I listened. Then I started, and then it was like, wow, and I didn't want to come.
That's the power of femininity, is that we know how to should I say, meet people where they're at, and elevate them.
tempered. Yeah, you nurture, you embrace, you encourage, you know. just yeah. I keep telling people, females. I'm not a biased person, but it is clear, Oliver. Females make better leaders.
You know, one of the beautiful things, at least for me, I don't know if this is common to every female, but at least for me, is I want to believe the best of people, and I want to speak to their greatness.
Yes.
Like I want to speak and bring out the best version of them. Like that's all I want to see. Like that's all, right? Because at the end of the day, really, as humans, right, we have the God factor in us, right? That is what I want to see, is that version, that is still there, is that we just want to speak life. Yeah, we want to speak life, we want to speak encouragement, we want to let people know it's possible. You can achieve success. I say success is available to anybody that practices its principles, right? So that's what I want. That's my own decision, or in terms of what I want to input. This is who I am, this is what I want to be. And anything that doesn't align with that, I shy away from.
Yeah, that's what you're propagating, because I've been following you for almost a year now. Formerly on LinkedIn, and then in Clubhouse in the last 2 months. So I really appreciate
That's it.
Your thought leadership, really.
That's all I have to offer.
Yeah, the passion.
That's all I have to offer. It's what God has offered me, what Jesus has offered me. Out of that, I'm like, God loves us. Let's offer ourselves. Let's live better life. You know, this world is tough enough. Everybody has something going on, right? Is that I don't want to contribute to the noise or the negative. I don't want, all you have to do is go online. You will find negativity. It's like, even when I talk about Africa, I say if it's Africa, you can find all kinds of things. I don't have to contribute to Africa is poor, corrupt. I don't want to contribute in any way in helping you. All you have to do is just go and Google. In fact, when I was teaching yesterday, that's one of the things I shared, is that what is the gap that I'm helping to fill, is that you cannot find trade information and trade data that will actually help you make intelligent business commercial decisions on Africa. And that's what we do at Nazaru, is that there's abundance of nonsense and stuff out there. But when it comes to business, can you run a business based on what is out there? No, you cannot. So what we offer at Nazaru is really business, trade, investment information, things you cannot find anywhere else, that you actually need to make intelligent business decision, right? That's it. So I don't want to contribute to any of those things. Some people have full-time jobs that's all they do every day, negative news, negative media. No, I can also come up with a full-time job of positivity. Right?
Redirecting people's mindset.
That's it.
To greatness. And that's what leaders do, really.
That's what I'm trying really hard. That's why I opened this space and created this space, is that we can all learn from one another, and we don't have to be shouting and screaming, and we don't have to be doing, there's another way we can all live happily, hopefully happily ever after. I don't know. Wow.
So much. Thank you, Mr. My regards to Mr. Laoye and every other speaker.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you. Like, the reason I opened this room is just to be able to engage, share, learn. That's what this is about for me, right?
To interact,
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. So I'm going to shortly close, and thank you to those who will listen to the replay and all that. I really do appreciate. Feel free to go to toyinmesiri.com to access business and trade and investment opportunities, the business roadmap, all of those things, right? So I'm going to close out the main live stream now, and then also Clubhouse.